The Reverend Dr. William L. Johnson III, and here we are for another morning meditation. I am grateful to be able to share these words of encouragement every time because it gives me great joy because I've experienced good words and words of encouragement from others along the way. And I hope that these words do inspire you and do encourage you as you're journeying through life, through your family life, through your work life, through your friendships or communities, whatever it is that you're facing right now, even if it's in a dark space or a difficult space. I want you to know that you're loved, you're appreciated, and you're irreplaceable. Now to our morning meditation. This is the fourth installment on this theme, When You Are Needed, part 4. When I started off in this journey and sharing these messages as we begin this year in 2023, remembering what we've gone through in 2022, acknowledging that we needed each other and we still do as we move forward. It's a beautiful thing to know that as we are needed, and so as we have needed, we also are needed. Let me say it again. As we have needed, we also are needed. And I want to encourage you to not hold back from helping other people, being kind to other people. You never know who's coming out of the wilderness or who's still in the wilderness and just needing a word of encouragement to take the next step or to go through the next thing or to make it through the next day or to get through another hour at work or to try to make their way through one more phone call from the kids' school. All those things are important for us. And so as we encourage each other, we do so knowing that we are needed for just that task. And no matter what it is that we face, as we have shared these words of encouragement, as we have faced the call for us to show up, to go and do and be, as we found ourselves navigating the difficulties that come with going and doing and being, that it's not always going to be easy. I bring us to this point as we share more poignantly with the passage of Scripture. I've talked a little bit about Isaiah, but I want to take us to a passage of Scripture that's in the Gospel of Matthew that I think sets us up for where we launch off for our new year. I know that many of us have different faith traditions, so bear with me as I share this message. I think there's something worth mining here. There's some gold there underneath these messages and these words if you hold on to them, and I invite you to it. The 5th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew begins with Jesus as the central character, calling his disciples together, those 12 that he has following him and many others, now to the Mount of Olives. And when he gets to the Mount of Olives, he goes through this kind of litany, what we call the Beatitudes, as he looks out and sees all the needs that are present and presenting themselves right before their eyes. They have walked through the streets and walked up the mountain and observed people going through so many things. And these are the things that Jesus says to his disciples as he shares with them what is important. And I'm going to read it. Bear with me here. He says to them, as he opened his mouth, he taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you, falsely, by the way, for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so they persecuted all the prophets which were before you." Verse 13, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt has lost its savor, where can it be salted again? It is therefore good for nothing and to be cast and trodden under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do people light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it gives light unto all who are in the house. So let your light shine before people, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. The message here is that it's important to note that it's good to observe the needs. And as Jesus gives this kind of speech and taught and teaching this to his disciples, he wants them to recognize the needs around them and how they are called on to respond when they are needed. And the point of it all is that not only will others need, but they will be in need. And everyone won't appreciate how they show up, when they go, when they do, how they are when they show up. They won't always appreciate that they had to struggle through many things. But in the midst of that, when you're needed, you're still called. Why? Because the one who knows you and knows who you are says that you are the salt of the earth and you're the light in the world. In other words, it's a dark world, and there are people who don't make a difference one way or the other. And if you are the salt, if you don't show up when you're needed, when you don't encourage others when you see they clearly need it, when you don't lend a hand or go or do or become yourself in that moment, then the world is at a loss. It misses something because it misses you. So I want to encourage you today. Just show up as you are. Do what you can. No one said you had to change the world. Just do what you can in your little corner, like the little light. Don't put it under a bush, but put it on top of a nightstand so that the light can shine. And when you do so, you are responding to your Creator who gave you the light in the first place. That's what I'm saying. As you go through this year, let your light shine. Do the best you can to be fully you, and don't let anybody put it out. When I was a kid, we used to sing this little song through our children's choir. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. I'm going to let it shine. Don't put it under a bushel. Oh, no, I'm going to let it shine. And don't let the Satan blow it out. I'm going to let it shine. In other words, in your job, in your home, in your family, in your community, with your friends, don't let yourself be disoriented, discouraged, and discontented to the point where you put your light, your life, who you are, under in a way and hide it from the rest of the world. You are important to the world. And I want to encourage you as you begin this new year to embrace that very fact. When you're needed, just show up as you are. And we'll discover, as we all do, that the one who created us for such a purpose and for such a time as this. I don't know what it is you need to do. I can't tell you that. All I know is just show up and be you, with a mind that being you, the you that you are, is not an impersonation of what people think you ought to be, nor what you think you ought to be, but who God has called you to be. And when you show up as God has called you to be, I am sure that your light will shine and it'll make a difference in the world. Thank you so much. I want you to know that you are loved, you're appreciated, and you're irreplaceable, and that your love that you give to others is the same way that God has already given to you. Nothing wrong with that. I shared this with some family recently. They said, well, I'm not going to show myself and do these things. People don't always, you're too early to be that kind. People take advantage of you. And I said to them, doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with being kind to people, even when they're not kind to you. There's nothing wrong with being good to people. I know we feel like we are being played and all these other kind of things. And all of us struggle with that every day. I get it. Our insecurities, our fears plague us. But sometimes it's just good to just be you. If you're a loving person, just love. And if they don't know how to appreciate that, that's on them. The divine will create the balance. Remember, there's a law of reciprocation. Whatever you put out there, it comes back to you. And when you do it right, it comes back to you 30, 60, and 100-fold. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a blessed new year. Take care. Bye-bye.